On a good night, I can have up to 8 dreams, sometimes more. And this is often something I'm able to control, or things that I'm able to do to assist this and to make this possible for myself. And whether you don't have any dreams, which we all do, but it just could be that you're not remembering your dreams. So whether you want to remember your dreams, whether you don't want to remember dreams, all of this is within our control. We have a lot more power over this than we realize. And I'm going to give you in this video just some of the things that I use, that I know in my own experience, have helped me to work on the quality of my dreams, how many dreams I can remember. And yeah, just at the end as well, I'm just going to give you some ways that you can work with your dreams as well, and how you can harness this power for yourself and, like, take control of these adventures that you're able to have, and this insight that you're able to gain with your dreams. So some of you might be wondering why you might want to have 8 dreams in an evening. It's not to say that you won't be able to stop that once you're able to get to that point. But if you would like, you can go and watch the first video in this series, which I would recommend that you do, which is also about the different types of dreams and things that we have in the astral spaces and what it's about, just very broadly. So there's a few things in different realms that you can do. So first, I want to talk about the reason why we don't remember our dreams. There's a lot of different things that it can be. But more often than not, it can be that, we are scared to. So this will also be when you're having very vivid nightmares, maybe you're having quite traumatic dreams, things like that. I know that, like, in the beginning of my journey, when it came to dream work, there was a lot of this stuff that was coming up. And it's happening because, you are trying to work through things, your psyche's trying to work through things. So once you start working through those things, and the more that you don't pay it attention, the more persistent it'll get. So this is where you get recurring dreams as well. And then once you open up that message, there's a quote from Rumi which says that dreams are unopened letters from God. And whether you believe in a higher power, or the God state within, or whatever your belief is, it's truly such a beautiful gift that we are able to have, and we are able to, I find it very exciting, like every day something new to find out and to see. And yeah, so when it comes to, like, nightmares, for instance, um, if this is something that you are struggling with, it's really good to think of it in a way where you understand that it's there to help you. To give you an example, I actually had a nightmare was basically saved my life. I went through something really difficult, and it was someone that passed away, and there was a 2-year period where I was very detached from my emotions, and I was, it was not a great time, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I was avoiding everything. And what happened was, like, and I couldn't even put to words what was happening. So something like this had never happened to me in my life before. And I wasn't dreaming all that much either, because, like, this is the thing where you've got this power, you've got this ability to block these things out if you want to. And I was. And then I had a dream where, in the dream, I was so emotional, like, it was because I wasn't grieving in real life. And I was so emotional in the dream, I was actually crying, but I was crying blood. And it shocked me so much. It's like, really, that emotion, like, got through to me, so that when I woke up, because at that stage I was interpreting dreams here and there, but nothing like really intense, not like, as consistently. I think this was the moment that really um, it gave me a true love and appreciation for dream interpretation. So that basically came down to that I've got some serious repressed emotions that I'm needing to express. And the reason I say it saved my life is because the stress of what was happening to me was actually taking effect in my body. And I wasn't even aware. So I really do. I always advocate for dream work. So especially, if you are having nightmares, if you're having traumatic things like that, we'll go into working with dreams in the next episode, and deal, like, getting interpretations and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that, when, like, how to work with nightmares and things like that, and what you can do, to turn that to something that's in your favor. So yeah, so if it's nightmares, that could be it. There's also yeah, so there's at the end I'll give you some really good like my favorite and best working things. But we can look at like physical things. Okay, so you've probably heard quite a lot of these, but sleep hygiene is extremely important. So your sleep hygiene is your dream hygiene, right? As much as we might want to remember a lot of dreams or have a lot of dreams, sometimes your system is just a little bit too tired to do so. So you know, I feel like this is also a lot to do with like your REM cycles and your deep sleep cycles. You'll have more or less of those cycles depending on how tired you are. So there's definitely a thing of getting enough sleep for your body. That can vary for people. You know, it's really helpful to go to bed at the same time because this also conditions your mind. I find like if I'm a little bit off when I go to sleep, then I have a little bit of a I'll say a wobble. So let me just say this though, with the thing of dreaming, with the 8 dreams, it's extremely interesting because I found a pattern to it, but I'll go more into this in the next episode as well. But there's different, it's all linked, and then there's different messages or different themes in a way. Like this dream will be saying this, and then it's all together. So like it's a whole thing that you can pull through together, which is incredible. When you're able to get all of that in, or like, you know, there's enough capacity for you to have that all come through in that message in that way. And then, so yeah, so if my sleep is a little bit off, if I'm a little bit late, sometimes even a little bit too early, because then I'll wake up sooner. But it's more like if I'm pushed past my time that I go to bed, then I'll miss out on some of those. That's why I'm saying it's like it wobbles. It sets it off a little bit, and it's, you know, yeah, it's a little bit. It's not like I'm not able to work with the dreams, but yeah, I feel like it's more consistent if I'm consistent, because it's really the routine of it is very helpful as well. So yeah, going to bed at the same time is very helpful. Having the same amount of sleep in a night as well. You know, you start training your body, your mind, that it runs on that cycle. So obviously, like your circadian rhythms are really important. This is also where, you know, that specific thing that I was telling you about with the stress, my circadian rhythms were out of whack. So I had like a lot of insomnia and things like that as well. And so that's also where I learned some really important techniques. Like if you are falling asleep, you struggle to fall asleep, and then you wake up soon again after, or if you fall asleep but then you wake up after 2 hours and then you can't get back to sleep. These are all little things that I was working on in terms of like that stress, but I also saw the benefit of it with my dreams, my dream work, and like, you know, that quieting of the mind. So, like, I don't know if I did mention in the other video as well, like I've got ADHD, but I'm pretty sure a lot of this stuff is, I mean, if it works for, if it works for my busy mind, I think it can be helpful for people that aren't neurospicy too, because they, you know, that's they are similar physical makeup, you know. But yeah, and then it comes to the brain, maybe a little different chemically. But yeah, anyway, so I will tell you, like, if you are struggling with sleep like that, just by the way, I will tell you what I did. I mean, this is maybe a little bit off topic, but I'll tell you. So there were a few things that helped me, and this is also why some of them are a little bit more extreme that you might not need to do. But this is as silly as it's going to sound. Okay, I'll tell you guys. Okay, so firstly, it helped a lot to have like a warm bath before bed, or hot shower, also to go to bed at the same time. This all falls in with sleep hygiene, so it actually is, it's part of the video. So not having any screen time, like a certain amount of time before bed, I think like an hour is good. But if you do, so there's a caveat to this, because one of the things that really helped me was reading. But what I would do is I will like read on my phone, but I'll put the night light on there so that there's none of that bright light that's bothering me. And that was one of the most helpful things, because I got so good. Like I'd put something on that was really like, I'd read something that was extremely intense, and then like I would kind of just, my mind couldn't keep up, and then I just like conk out. But it worked so well. Like after 5 minutes of reading, I fall asleep. And so when I was like doing better and I wanted to get back to reading, like actually I want to read now, like I had to train myself up to like not fall asleep after 5 minutes. So be careful if you do that because that will probably happen. But yeah, that's like I'm saying one of the extreme things. The other thing with that is only use that if you're really, really struggling with your sleep because sometimes, not all the time, but it depends. We'll get into how to do this, like to clear your mind as well. But sometimes, if it's like an intense story or something that you're reading, that might influence your dreams. But people sometimes think that if they watch something or they read something and they're dreaming about it, that it doesn't mean anything, but it's actually just your mind using that to communicate to you. But we'll get into that type of stuff in the next episode. So, oh yes. Also, if you're finding yourself waking up, like this is before I got into meditation as well, what I would do is I would relax my body. So I now know what this is called. It's called a body scan. But what I would do is I would breathe in and I'd imagine I'm breathing, and you can choose whatever color you feel like. But for me, it was blue. So I was breathing in this blue and it was going throughout my whole body. And then I was breathing out black, like any black, but like, and I was working from the top down, like, just relaxing as I'm breathing in, relaxing my entire body. So that was also very helpful for me. I also want to talk about, oh, hang on a second. No, you just got to give me a second. It comes around, I lose the thoughts. Oh, yes, coffee. So at least no coffee after 4 o'clock in the afternoon was very helpful for me because it definitely does affect your sleep cycles. If you can make it sooner than that, that's great. And then, yeah, this could just be like a me thing, but I'm just telling you guys all the stuff that helped me. It helps for my sleep is obviously I like to have clean bedding and I've got very sensitive, like, I'm sensitive to a lot of stuff. So, nothing like any small little thing like in the bed. I know it sounds like terrible, but I've got cats, so you got to make sure there's like nothing, not even like a little stone or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's got stones in their bed, but yeah. So there's that, and then also this is like a really weird one, but it was very helpful. I equate it to like maybe it's like when you're a child, but I would like have a hot cup of milk before bed as well, which would also like help me to fall asleep. I don't do a lot of these anymore because my sleep is really great at the moment. But definitely the screen time thing, like the routine, that stuff that I definitely still do. So yeah, sleep is really important. There are some supplements and things. So if I take a multivitamin for my ADHD, but I mean this is also helpful just in terms of your brain health as well. Is omegas, omega 3. Not omega 6 because yeah. But to do your research, like yeah, you must look up your own supplements and what will work for you. I've sometimes had something that I was shorting, and I had like my mom come to me in a dream and tell me what it is that I need to take. Like I would have something show up and like physically, and then it turns out that it was a lack of this, and then if I take it then it's great, and then it actually increases like my ability to dream and all of that type of stuff. So sometimes it could just be like a little thing like that you're lacking. Maybe if you want to go and get your get tests done to also see that you've got everything, like magnesium, zinc, those type of things. Yeah, hydration is also very important. Water is incredibly important. I feel like people really underestimate how much water helps you with your processes in your body. So, and also like electrolytes. It's making me think of that one episode in Futurama. But anyway, not like that. It's got electrolytes in it. But yeah, so that's also helpful. So let's see. Oh yes. Okay. So until you get to a point where I don't do this anymore because I do dream regularly, and I find that I'm already on par and up to scratch. Yeah, because I'm doing my dream work regularly, I'm really tapping into everything and I'm working with everything. But what is helpful initially is when you've got a lot going on and things are quite chaotic, that can sometimes flow over. So let me explain in a better way. All right. If you did watch the first video, I was talking about how dreams, lucid dreaming, astral travel, all of that is like on a spectrum. And your mind will bring up these things that you're trying to work with first. Now, there's a lot of clutter and a lot of things that just happen in your day that can be on your mind, and like you have to kind of like clear through that first or work through that first. So if you do go to bed and you've got a ton of other things on your mind, you're not really going to initially get to the stuff that's truly important for you, or in a way that you can really get to the core of what's like happening. You'll just like be replaying stuff that's happened throughout the day that bothered you or things like that, which is an indication, because it's letting you know, okay, this is bothering me, because your mind will try and fix the situation, like if you keep trying to process it. So what is helpful for that is, I took this from when I did with the group, it's the morning pages. So the morning pages talks about From the Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, I think it is, I'm not sure. I always forget, I get her name mixed up. Apologies. So what the morning pages is about is you take 3 pages, or you write out 3 pages, but you do like a mind dump when you wake up. And you just like write out whatever is on your mind and you put that in there. This is also then helpful to do before you go to bed as well. For myself, I think quicker than what I can write. So what I would do is I would just do the voice note, which is really helpful as well for me. And then I can just like get it all out there. Hang on a second. Yeah, so so that's morning and evening pages you can do, and also meditation. Meditation, you don't even have to do a lot of it. You can just do like a bit of a 10-minute meditation, which also stills and quiets your mind, so that whatever you are, this is where the dream hygiene comes in. So I talk about it like as dream hygiene, is that it's not cluttered with all of that little, I was going to say trash. It's not trash, but you know what I mean. Okay, so what else? Let's see. I didn't make notes this time, so I'm just rolling with it. So I do hope I'll remember everything. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, also, I mean, it's a small thing, but like eating before bed is also going to affect, I generally don't sleep well, and obviously bananas. Bananas give you nightmares. So then that's not like if that you're needing to work through anything, it's just because of the banana. But that's maybe just me, I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's everything. Hang on a second. Yes, okay. So now we get to the cool part. So whether you want to remember dreams or not, because you can do that, it's up to you. This will also happen, like, let me say, even if you really, really, really do want to remember dreams, if you're too tired and your body's not able to handle it, there's a very good chance that you won't be remembering that evening. So this is all giving you the best opportunity that you have to be able to remember your dreams. Now, one of the biggest tools, and I stick by this every single night that I do want to remember dreams, or even if you don't, is your intention. Your intention is incredibly important. So what I will do is I will, every night that I want to remember dreams, which is invariably almost just every night, unless I'm tired. If I'm tired, then I'll say, I do not want to dream tonight. Or what I do is I will say out loud, and you must mean it. You must have that emotion behind it, that intention behind it. But I set the intention to remember my dreams. And then sometimes, because maybe I know there's something important that's going to come through, and then I'll also say it's important to me. So your mind needs to know that it's important to you. Another way that you can signal to your mind that it's important, and we'll get into this in the next episode as well, is by writing or recording your dreams, because it reinforces that it's something important. Especially writing is helpful. But yeah, I've developed a different method, but I'll share that with you again in the next episode. So the intention is incredibly important. And what I also like to do is you can set the intention to remember your dreams, but then you can also, this is where the fun part comes in, you ask questions. You set the intention that you want to know this, or you want to know this. So if you did watch the first video, I did speak quite a lot about what some of the possibilities are when you're dreaming. So you can, for instance, ask to remember a past life. You can ask to have a prophetic dream. You can ask a question. You can ask to know something. And really, we don't realize that it's not just what we know. We are tapping into the collective unconscious. And if you get to a point where you're also working with lucid dreams and astral travel and stuff like that, this also becomes, really vast. So now I do want to mention, though, and this is why I will talk about how to differentiate and get into that a little bit more in the next episode. But what I do want to say is that if we do have a lot that we still need to process, if we do have a lot that's on our mind, if we haven't cleared that space, sometimes when you do set that intention, it won't happen because of all of this other stuff that will be in the way. Like your mind can't move through that to actually have a pure intention come through. And it's really important to get to a point where you are clearing your headspace so that you are just firstly, I would recommend first having just dreams, right, where you are able to interpret them, you're able to look at them, but not with the chatter from the day. And doing that for a little bit of a while so that you can see how your mind's communicating with you. You can get a feel for just the general like messages, letters, as you will, that your subconscious is sending to you. And then when you do start setting intentions and you start asking about things, then you've got a better foundation and a base to work from so that you will understand when something that's coming through is actually what you've asked for, because discernment is extremely important. So this is why as well I was talking about developing your intuition, and it's important to work from a base point. So first start with making sure that you're clearing your mind, start working on being able to have more dreams. And again, don't fear, because I've got to a point where I've been having like 8 dreams and I'm like, all right, I'm tired, this is too much. And then I will literally say, I'm not dreaming tonight. And then I don't. So yeah, I just want you to know that as well. As like feeling some people are freaking out. They're like, no, I can't shut it off. You can shut it off. And this is the whole point, like it's all within your control. So I would recommend that you first do that. First work on making sure that you've got clear headspace and clear mind space, and that you are allowing more space for more dreams to come through and more vivid dreams, more clear dreams. And you'll find that as well. You won't feel that it's very foggy or that you struggle to remember, but we'll also get into that, like how to pull the threads and how to recall everything as well. And then do that for a little bit. And I'm talking like I would recommend at least a couple months, right? Don't get me wrong, I've had someone set an intention where they weren't dreaming much, and they set an intention and they got like a very, very short little snippet. Sorry, don't discount those snippets. Those are incredibly important. There's so much information just in these small little pieces that you get as well. And just a sip of water, sorry guys. Yeah, so don't discount those, because there can be information that you get through there. But I would recommend then, if you are going to set an intention like that, maybe just start with things like questions, just a question about something, or asking for how to solve a problem or something like that, before getting into like all the other things like prophetic and past lives and stuff like that, because that stuff, you really do need some discernment when you're working with that. And then eventually you can develop those too. So I think that's everything. I might have to release some more if I have forgotten anything. But okay, so cool. I hope you guys have fun with that. I hope it's been helpful. If you want to, please let me know in the comments if there's anything that you do that helps you to remember your dreams, or if there's anything, even on your sleep hygiene and stuff like that. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure other people would as well. And yeah, guys, happy dreaming. I'll see you in the next one.